I want to talk about omnichannel. Can you talk us through more about what omnichannel entails and tell us if it's being used effectively in South Africa at the moment?
So omnichannel is basically a collection of all the different touch points in a consumer's journey. So for example, in the retail space, you've obviously got your physical retail stores, you've got your Mobi sites, you've got your website, you've got your print catalogs. And it's basically tying all of that up together. So as a consumer, so as Jen, when you walk in and you see something on a catalog, say a Checkers, then you should be able to just use your phone, for example, to punch in that specific product code number, bring it up on your phone, and then if you want to go to Checkers and buy it, you've got the choice of actually buying it physically. You know, you go to Checkers, you see the queues are too long on a Saturday.
Right.
But so rather than doing that, you can just say add to my cart, and it will get you're basically able to buy it online then and there and get it delivered. Or you could basically buy it online and then just go and pick it up, say at the collection counter. You know, this is the best case best case scenario. Whether anybody is doing that in South Africa as yet, unfortunately, no. There are brands that are trying the omni-channel approach.
Right.
So an example is I got invited to TFG's omni-channel launch last year. But when I attended, it was really just more a website launch with omni-channel features coming in the future. So
it wasn't really...
It wasn't really omni-channel from what I gathered.
Okay. I want to talk about mobile apps. What needs to go into a retail app that makes it functional and really work for the consumer?
I would say definitely profiling, understanding what a consumer's shopping patterns are and delivering relevant products to that consumer. And that's actually missing in most retail apps, and not even apps, I would say in most retail online sites at the moment, in that a brand doesn't really understand a consumer's buying patterns in order to cross-sell relevant products to them. So for example, if you are looking at Zando, hypothetical example, you are interested in a specific brand of shoe or specific style of shoe, chances are if you log on to their app or Mobi site or whatever if they have, and you see on their homepage sort of similar stuff that you were browsing the day before, then you'd be more inclined to actually click on it, get the description, and want to buy it.
Right.
And that's what retailers are failing to do. They're failing to understand your past buying patterns, to understand your browsing patterns. Again, with e-commerce, and this is a concern not just in South Africa, worldwide, is people are not very open to just buying online. They need that education. But once they're in there, then they have no issues with buying online. But obviously, it's an education process. And the transition from buying online, you know, in your traditional websites to your mobile site, I mean, that's also another education process. So if you understand these patterns of the consumer, so they might not be necessarily buying online, but you should be able to have enough data in there to see what they are actually browsing. If you can use that to your advantage, then that will just make somebody's life a lot more easier. Because as a consumer, especially on your mobile phone, it's such a tiny real estate. You want to go in there and browse very quickly, or if you're going to get a notification, push notifications are really, really popular on mobile apps. It needs to be a meaningful notification.
Right.
Not just notification for the sake of spam. You know, it's the same like SMSs. There's so many SMSs that go around, but unless it's of relevance to you, you're not going to actually click it. So if a consumer is used to getting relevant information from a specific brand or retail store, then chances are they will interact with it.
Okay, well that brings me to my next point. I mean, I think a lot of consumers who are listening don't really want to share those details and patterns with businesses. So I know I have a lot of friends, acquaintances who kind of go out of their way to make sure that their patterns can't be tracked.
Yeah.
Is that a concern?
No, it's not a concern. I mean, at the end of the day, this sort of information needs to be shared with the permission of the consumer. So brands, and I think with the new laws and all of that have come into place, you have to ask the consumer permission in order to collect data from them.
Right.
So if it's a choice the consumer has made, then good. If it's not, then obviously the consumer will then just need to realize that when they are browsing a certain site, they're not going to get that relevant information because they've chosen not to share that information.